Boeing has stripped CEO Dennis Muilenburg of his position as chairman, so Dennis Muilenburg is now just CEO. Now, the idea of splitting the roles is commonly an effort to show more oversight of the business, but you wonder if this is just an optics step. Yahoo Finance's Alexis Keenan is here with more. Hi, Alexis.
Hi, optics maybe.
Yeah, what do you think? What are people saying to this? What's the reaction so far? This happened over the weekend, splitting the CEO and chairman roles.
So it depends who you ask. It depends who's writing the article. But Muilenburg will stay on as CEO and president, and he's still a director. He is just not chairman anymore. Okay. So some people look at this and say this is a vote of confidence, actually, for Muilenburg, because he still has his job, right? He's still getting an opportunity to get this MAX back in the air. Some critiques say, hey, if he doesn't get it back in the air in the fourth quarter, when Boeing has consistently promised, then things might change. The scrutiny might get a little bit tougher. So it depends who you're asking. And also, recently Boeing made some changes to its organizational structure where its top engineers will report directly to the chief engineer and thus giving more of a direct line to Muilenburg. So in that sense, he has a little bit more control over what's going on at the company. So, remains to be seen.
I mean, what is the actual implication of not being the board chairman anymore relative to the 3 or 4 other roles that he has right now? He's still going to be a director on the board, right, as I understand it. So for those that are maybe unfamiliar with what each different role has in terms of responsibility beyond what you just explained, what actually is the change here?
So he will not now be directing really the mission of the company. And, he's not going to have the kind of oversight that he had as chairman anymore. This is going to go to David Calhoun, who has been a lead independent director since 2018.
He's also executive chairman.
Yes, and he's also been a director on Boeing since 2009. So he's been there a long time. He will take over the chairman's role and have a lot more authority about how things go and over some of these safety changes that they're making at the company. Also, he's been director since 2009. He's also senior managing director of portfolio operations at Blackstone Group. He also led GE's aircraft division for a time. Also, former Nielsen and Caterpillar. The guy's got a lot of experience.
Gotcha. Let me just mention, I remember a few years back when I was at Fortune before coming to Yahoo, we did a story on the fact that splitting the CEO and chairman roles is a very common age-old thing in Europe and in places outside the U.S. But in the U.S., it's very common that one person has the title of chairman and CEO. But we wrote a few years back already about more and more American companies starting to split up those two roles. So as I understand it, it's usually an effort to show that it's not all on one person.
Right,
there's a multitude of voices.
Elon's role at Tesla earlier this year, and you'll also see calls on Wall Street. I remember at one point there were calls to split Jamie Dimon's titles at one point. So it's something that tends to drum up conversations, at least here.
When you say, Alexis, I want to end on this, that there's still pressure on Muilenburg to get the 737 MAX in the air in the fourth quarter. Well, fourth quarter, we're talking about 2 more months. We're already halfway through October.
Not much time.
What really are the chances of these planes getting in the air before New Year's Eve?
It doesn't seem that likely. I could be wrong. However, Boeing has not yet submitted its packet of changes to the FAA. So it hasn't even handed over that information for the FAA to be able to say yes or no. So getting them up in the air when that process is expected to take 2 to 3 months does not seem likely that it's going to happen by the end of the year.
Especially holidays.
Especially holidays. And also important to note here that this change at Boeing, this chairmanship change, is coming right on the heels of a report that was issued within hours before the shakeup. And this was from that joint group of regulators that we've been waiting so long to hear from. They have really come down and criticized Boeing and FAAs here. So this was a really quick response, it seems, to that.
All right, Alexis, thanks so much. I'm sure we'll have an update on Boeing very, very soon. So I'll have you back.
You're welcome.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.